Guys, we're going to be doing a little preview here for this season of ASL. I apologize in advance for my voice. If I don't know if you can hear it, but I'm definitely feeling sick. This is for season 17, and I wanted to talk a little bit about the groups. By the way, if you're going to be coming into Seoul to watch the games, it's going to be every Monday and Tuesday. We do have Wednesdays for the group for the round of 24, but after that, it's going to be every Monday and Tuesday. So if you're coming into town, definitely book those days to be open. When we get much later in the tournament, that could be subject to change, but as far as you're concerned with round of 24, round of 16, you're going to want to be here for a Monday or a Tuesday to see those live. There'll be more information online to get tickets for that, and there is a week off after the round of 24 for group selection, so there is one dead period where there won't be any matches, so just be on the lookout for that. But the first 2 weeks are going to be just Group A through C, and then Group D through F. So over here in the Group A, on our left, Light, Zealot, Bisu, and C. The person I'm actually most excited about in this group is going to be Zealot. If you guys have been following my YouTube, and if you're watching this, you're probably watching this on YouTube right now. Zealot's a player I've been casting a bunch. This guy has been consistently in the top 10 on the ladder. If you're not really hardcore with StarCraft 1, you might not be familiar with who this guy is. But he's no slouch. He's been beating all of the very, very best players very consistently. So you want to watch out for guys like this, because you'll have these players who are legendary and they're fairly active, but then you get these guys who are usually considered like B tier or even C tier who've been grinding a lot. And sometimes these are the guys that cause the real big upsets in the round of 24. So definitely watch out for him. I think C might be the weakest player in this group. He's been back. He's been a little bit active. If you've followed old StarCraft, you know him. Or if you follow just Korean streaming in general, you know this guy. He is one of the players that I think is generally a little bit better on the main stage. You know, whereas a player like Zealot, we don't know how he's going to handle being in ASL and trying to compete. He's not the guy that's had the kind of stage time as Light or Bisu. And that does lead me to Light or Bisu. Probably the guys that are going to get out. I think almost 100% Light. Bisu, I got my fingers crossed for. I've always been a fan of casting his games. I love how he approaches the matchup in general. He's like, as of now, with Flash not competing, he's the player that I'm really looking at as kind of the old school god who's still able to hang. Jaedong's had his moments here as well, and it's been very cool to have him back. We do have Stork, which I'll get to in a little bit here in Group C, but we all know he hasn't performed as well as previously. So over into Group B, this is another one where the narrative for me is a little bit similar to Group A, where Tengu, another player who I've casted a bunch of his replays on this YouTube channel, he's going to be in this group. So again, with Zealot and Tengu, if you don't know these guys, you probably shouldn't unless you're super hardcore, not just into like who's active right now on the ladder, but like if you're one of the guys that can name every single pro gamer. Tengu's really good, but again, this is another really tough group. There's a lot of killers here. We've got Best. He's been inconsistent, of course, but he's always looked solid. We've got Action, who I think is easily the player to get out of this group. I really thought he was going to be a shoo-in for the round of 4. So Action probably going to come out number 1. And then it's going to be down to Sock. And Sock has looked really good. He hasn't quite filled the role of these other Terrans that we've had, whether they're old or new, really able to, I don't know, kind of lead the race while Flash has been out of the picture. So if I had to have picks here, I'd say Action and Best, but I'm really curious to see how Tengu is going to do. I think Zealot's looking a little bit stronger over in Group A, just when you talk about the kind of dark horses of a group. But keep your eyes peeled on these new guys here. Over into Group C, where I'm going to jump myself over here to get out of the way. I'll even put myself right next to Group C, just like I'm looking at it. Isn't that that's a good visual right there? Hero, Killer, Mind, and Stork. So Killer, he looked really good in previous seasons, but Hero, Mind, and Stork. I think with Mind and how well he's played, it's hard to imagine him not making it. It's kind of weird because Mind was such a strong player previously, And then he wasn't that great in the early seasons of ASL. And ASL has been on for years now, right? I mean, we've really got a lot of history with this tournament. But Mind was a guy that we, for a long time, kind of thought of at his peak as pre-StarCraft 2. It's almost like he was good in the Jurassic period of the game, right? Like he's from a different generation of beasts, but he's looked very good, and he's kind of found his own way to approach Terran. Very brainy stuff in the early game that usually gets him to a good spot later on. I think he's going to be pretty well prepped for this. Stork is the player that, obviously, as a guy that grew up with StarCraft 1, I'm always excited to see him playing, but I don't know, man. Stork's games have been a little bit odd. He has these moments of brilliance, I think especially in PvP. He looks solid. PvT, he seems to carrier rush a lot. I want to see if he's going to do that again. It's almost to the point where Dan and me have joked about this, like on camera and even off camera. I'll pop into his stream and just see, once again, he's carrier rushing a Terran. Not that that's bad, but it's just like, it's kind of an odd thing. It doesn't seem like he has the bigger range of play. And he's got 2 good Zergs in this group. I'm worried Stork's probably going to get knocked out. That would be not surprising. And then, of course, Hero. This guy has been good through all of the ASLs. He's one of the best Zergs we've ever had. Sorry. Told you I was sick. So, look, I mean, I think Hero's going to get out probably no matter what. Mind should make it. Killer and Stork, good luck. Stork, I think, definitely in a little bit of trouble there. Going down now into Group D. I'll put myself right below it here. JYJ, TY, Shuttle, Jaedong. Now, some of you guys who have only followed StarCraft 1 might not know TY. TY, look, he did play Brood War pre-StarCraft 2. But TY was one of the greatest Terrans to ever touch the game in StarCraft 2. He then became maybe the greatest analytical commentator to cast StarCraft 2. He's always been a good StarCraft 1 player. He's consistently been very, very high on the ladder. There was a lot of speculation about, like, will this guy eventually just be in an ASL? And I think this is a really exciting narrative. You know, just like when we had Sulky and Rain come back into StarCraft 1 and dominate, by the way, that's a possibility here with TY. He's really good. This guy has played on the stage of World Championships. He is cool as a cucumber. Obviously, since he's worked on GSL, I've had chances to drink with him at work parties. I even asked him, like, do you ever get nervous? Do you ever feel uncomfortable? Because a lot of players do that. He says, no, not at all. So this is going to be a fun one. But this is a pretty tough group as well. You've got JYJ and Jaedong specifically have looked incredible. Jaedong, he's one of these guys where I'm really hoping he can keep being consistently good, but also bring the results. He's brought these games that just look phenomenal. It does look like the old Jaedong, but I think despite what a lot of people say in StarCraft 1, there's I don't know, you guys have probably seen this on TL and stuff. People are like, the older days when they lived in pro houses, people were better. No way, man. People are way better today. And Jaedong has looked like that old Jaedong, looked very scary, but he hasn't been able to pull the wins with that play. I think Jaedong, I think it's maybe a 50-50 chance he gets out of this group. I think Shuttle's a guy you can't sleep on. I do think Shuttle's probably the weaker player in this group. But you don't want to count him out. He's got a lot of really smart strategies. He's a bit of a wild card. And then, of course, you've got JYJ. JYJ versus TY. I think JYJ comes out on top. TY would go to the losers. And we just have to see where TY can take the game from there. But I do hope we get a TY versus Jaedong game. I think that would be a lot of fun. So that's my take over there for that group, for Group D. I'm going to move myself over to Group E. So we've got Royal, Beast, Rain, and Barracks. So, look, I mean, Royal has played so well. I think he's probably the guy that's going to get out of this group. I was truly inspired by his play a few seasons ago when he stole the whole thing. And honestly, we're going to see if he can do it again. some pros, they win a season and they kind of struggle to ever get back to that same thing again, especially common in ASL and GSL. But I think he should be able to take this. The question is going to be how well Rain can play. And Rain, sometimes he looks like he's the best player in the whole world. And then he has these moments where things don't seem to line up. It did seem like for a couple seasons, he just knew how to hard counter everybody he was playing against. But the round of 24 is a brutal part of this tournament, so he's going to have to come in here really solid. By the way, not a lot of... there's only 7 Protosses in this ASL. And one of them is Mini that's waiting, in the upper part of the bracket. So you've got a lot of Terrans. Obviously, everybody who makes it into an ASL is good, but fingers crossed here for Rain, because I think some of these guys, these Protosses, it's not inherently obvious that they're going to get out of this group. So, we'll have to see how Rain plays there. Beast and Barracks. I think Barracks is really good. I think, he's got a shot here. Depending, especially, with round of 24 in the format that it's in. He could do it. And Beast could do it. So this is, not cut and dry for me. But if I had to pick, I think, like everybody else who's watching this, I would probably say Royal Rain. In Group F, we've got Snow, we've got Speed, we've got Mong, we've got Shine. Look, Snow should get out of this group. No problem. Now, you do have Shine in the group, and he's always, I think, especially when you end up with best of ones, like we're going to have in this part of the tournament, Shine can definitely get some wins, but I think no matter what, Snow should be able to win in a group with 2 Terrans. Mong is Mong. He's really good. But I don't know that he is necessarily a threat. I think if he gets out of the group, we're not going to be too shocked. Speed, I don't know that much about, other than that he's also been a very solid player who's, been looking very good, kind of like the 2 dark horses we talked about in Group A and B. But with the likes of Snow and Shine, I mean, those are 2 powerhouse players. So, this is going to be an interesting one to follow and to see. Real quick here, the players that are waiting in the round of 16 is Sulky, Mini, Rush, and Sharp. So let's not forget, Sulky actually won the last ASL. That was a phenomenal performance by him. A moment that we thought maybe Mini would be able to take it again. Mini is pretty consistently, along with Snow, basically the best Protoss in Korea, or in the whole world, really. And of course, Rush, this guy has really been outshining almost everybody. He's been maybe the most consistent Terran, I think maybe even more so than Light. I have to double check on all the stats for that, but he's been very, very solid. In all the matchups, he's got a good approach to the game. He seems to be one of the players that we would consider newer. I know this game's a quarter of a century old, so it's weird to call players newer, but compared to the old school guys we're talking about, he seems to really own the stage and own, I don't know, the arena and play extremely well. Sharp is exciting to see here in Group D. He was the player I think was a bit more of a surprise. Not that he's unworthy of the round of 4, but that, with the other players that were in the tournament, that he was the one that bubbled up to the top. In case you guys have not been following the lead up into this, we did have Queen not qualify. In case you're feeling like something's missing, Queen didn't qualify, or a couple of other good players didn't qualify. Flash is not back and playing. So this is where we're at. But I got to say, this is going to be a fun season. I always miss ASL when it's not on. So I'm excited to start recording these. We do have a system in place where Artosis and I record the games the night after they happen. Some of you guys have wanted to know, and I'm gonna probably post this on the Patreon as well, but some people have been asking if we could have subtitles for the translations, as well as for the group stages. Here's the issue. Most people want the stuff out fast. Some people have also mentioned, can we get the graphics translated like we used to in the past? Can we get I guess a more produced show like we used to do? The issue is there were too many people we were relying on, and the reality is, because of the nature of a live show and spoilers and the fact that people want to keep up with us as quick as possible, We've developed a system where we get it translated really fast, audio only. We should have us on camera, by the way, both of us. I know we had a sock puppet last time. That was just because we had to make some production changes in the middle of the last season, but we're not going to have the graphics translated, and it's all because of speed. We want to get it out to you as quick as possible, and so that's usually, we're able to do that within 48 hours, unless there's some kind of snafu or Afrika's slow to upload the VODs. So our system is one where we want to get this to you as quick as possible, and that's why there have been some production changes, but it's all because of speed. Anyways, if you like this kind of content, please do like and subscribe. I'm doing a lot more casting of StarCraft guides. We're doing stuff with Stormgate and Zero Space, StarCraft history. I talk about esports on this channel, historical. I do some business analytical stuff on here as well. And we talk about just RTS things in general, even sometimes gaming stuff in general here. I apologize if I sound hoarse and shitty. It's because I am really sick today. Hopefully I'll be better for the recording of the ASL, which is going to be live broadcasted on Afrika TV tomorrow in Korean. We're going to get that recasted in English for you guys ASAP. Thank you so much. Like and subscribe. Leave a comment. That helps me in the algorithm. And have a good day. I hope to see you in a future video. And enjoy the season of ASL Season 17. Bye-bye.